Do you want to do it? Oh shit, no. But what? That's discipline. I'm gonna do it regardless.
What's the big thing that's helped you to build your mindset up, and what advice would you give them?
Failure is not a defeat. Defeat is a problem. But failure is something that you learn from if you want to learn.
If you're ready to get alpha, this podcast is going to be for you, and this is going to be a banger. I can tell from just chatting before this. Pleasure to have Sief El Hakim on the podcast, and a great pronunciation there.
Yep, you nailed it, brother.
It was good. So you're known as the alpha. Why?
Because I define alpha in a different way.
Okay.
So let me start it's a pleasure to be with you on the podcast. I'm sure it's going to be a great episode. I think we've been in touch for quite long, and we finally made it. So I'll go back to the alpha. Why alpha? Because I define alpha in a different way. Like a lot of people, historically say that the alpha is the leader, of course, the first letter in the Greek alphabet, of course, but it has like the negative traits, like the controlling behavior, the egocentric, and. But modern traits alpha, completely different, and it's evolved. And the one that I consider the most important trait of an alpha is that alphas they lack something that everybody has, which is the stop button.
I knew you were going to say that. Off switch.
Of course. So we're obsessed in what we're after. That's the main thing. We never stop. There is no stop. When somebody tells me define a goal, define a success, define, there is no end point. It's always on. Besides all these, of course, the alpha is, of course, a leader. Of course, the person who takes tough decisions. He's fiercely determined, persistent, impactful, take care of the loved ones, influential. These are all the good traits of an alpha, not the egocentric, the selfish. But this being said, if while pursuing all this, you will tell me I'm selfish, then okay.
One of my favorite sayings is you have to be selfish to be selfless.
Of course.
So you becoming the greatest version of yourself means you can help impact other people. So, for example, our fitness business have helped over 8,000 people get in shape. I've helped over 100 trainers make 6 figures in the last year. I've helped 5 trainers make over 7 figures in the last year because I was incredibly selfish and making myself the best version of myself so I could give it back to the rest of the world.
Of course. And all the champions are like this. All the winners are like this. They have to be selfish in order to give the life, for the people around their circle. It's 100% true.
There's saying like is winners and losers have the same thing, goals.
Oh, exactly.
But it's what you do to achieve them.
Totally. So goals is not the differentiator.
What do you think in terms of your career and success has been the biggest differentiator for you?
I never quit, I believe. It doesn't come to me. Yes, I can be off mood. I can be, my mood is not, but quit will never happen.
It's one of the things I really believe in is the 3 R's. It's being relentless, resilient, and then the other one's going to come back to me. There's another one.
But you know, like 100%, okay, when we say that we never quit, it doesn't mean that we're dumb. It's not you're not hitting your head into the wall and that's it. Saying never quit means if I'm doing something, I reflect. I understand that something is not working well, I can pivot. But quit, no. So ability to pivot is also something.
Well, there's a difference between quitting and being flexible and like changing, as you said.
Flexible is as a word, it's absolutely, I don't like. Because, within where we live or the era that we live, being flexible could mean like being following the trends, being soft, following whatever people tell you. A pivot is that you understand where you stand. You understand that it's not going to work, and I'm going to tilt a little bit to reach my goal.
A good example I give that from people who are fitness trainers listening to this will take a lot of thought from this is I see a lot of people who put their entire life into bodybuilding, yet they will never make any money. The only person who makes any money in bodybuilding is Chris Bumstead. Outside of that, they're all broke.
True. It's a very tough one.
And that's why they might as well be IFBB broke, because the reality is people need to define that, yes, you can be successful in a sport, but you also have to think what comes after the sport.
What you're going to do with it.
And I think that's where most people don't look long term. And most successful people I see, they don't set just 30-day goals. They're looking I think 3 to 5 years ahead. Where am I going to be when I'm 40? Where am I going to be when I'm 50? What does life look like?
And also the problem that I see, that people, you can be successful, it's not hard. Literally, you can be successful. The hard part is to sustain the success. It's like, I can be successful now, And then within the next 4 or 5 years, I maintain the success and go to the other level. A lot of people have the luck that once you become successful, then the next day you lose everything. That's not successful. That's why, with all the respect to all the, I don't want to say very super young people, we were speaking about that. Like, I did something, it became successful, let me teach it. That's why I ask you, how long you've been a PT? You told me, look, it's ages. Like, you pass through ins and out, lows and highs. Then I can give you my ears, listen, and do actions based on what you tell me. But like a success overnight or one-time success, sustaining success is extremely hard.
And I think that almost reminds me of the word you said a minute ago, is like pivoting, because also like when you've experienced a business, you have the ability to pivot, because you can look at something like, this isn't working because of X, Y, and you know, like historically in your brain, okay, like I'm doing a big training for our mastermind tonight in terms of how to retain clients over summer and how they can make loads of money now, because I've had a fitness business that's had every summer where loads of clients drop off because they go on holiday, so they don't want to do it.
True.
So it's like when you know what's going to happen, you can avoid the proverbial iceberg in life.
And that comes with experience.
What's been the biggest thing, do you think, that's defined your experience in business?
We were talking about kind of a friend of us. We try a lot. We're not afraid of trying. There are a lot of people that before they try, they think a lot. They keep thinking. They waste their time, they waste their emotions, mentally, even physically, it will reflect. We try. And I love to try. Even if I try something and it doesn't work now, I say I'll put it in the drawer. The time will come. It will come out. So that's, sometimes I say, like, I'm a mad scientist. I like to try things. Literally, try. Fail, no problem. Try. Because I define failure in a different way. Failure is not a defeat. Defeat is a problem. But failure is something that you learn from if you want to learn.
In a way, I'd almost frame that as like, I'm trying to win the war. I don't care if I lose the battle.
Exactly.
It's like long-term thinking again.
True.
And the only way you fail is if you stop.
And you know the problem is you can't be successful without failure. There is no night without sun. Like, how can you taste success if you don't fail?
It's ironic you said that as it's gone really dark and it's pissing with rain.
Exactly. We're like almost 3 p.m. in Dubai, but it's completely dark.
It's the end of the world. I was going to make a joke about Iran attacking Israel, but I probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's time for another time.
YouTube will block.
Yeah. So one of the strongest things I've seen from you listening to a lot of your podcast is the strength of your mindset. I see a lot of people have very broken mindsets, in particular from getting stuck scrolling cat videos on TikTok, and like the youth of today's, I sound like an old man saying that, but they're distracted by comparison syndrome. If they see me successful in Dubai, you successful in Dubai, whoever,
True.
and they feel that gap and it hurts them and they're too afraid to start. What's the big thing that's helped you to build your mindset up, and what advice would you give them?
I never compare, literally. A lot of people say, like, just don't compare as a word, as a statement. Don't compare. I literally don't compare. I literally compare myself to myself. Like, if in 2-3 months I found myself the same as before, that's a comparison that I don't want to say kill myself for it, but that's unacceptable. Your journey is different than my journey. And what you allow me to see, I said what allow me to see on social media is what you allow me to see on social media. It's not the real story. It's not everything behind the thing. To become successful, excuse my language, you're extremely fucked up to become successful. Extremely fucked up. We, unfortunately or fortunately, how social media is portrayed, that we show the end result. These days, yes, you can show part of the story, but you don't show your down. You don't show yourself when you're down. You don't show yourself when you're hitting the wall with your hand. You're extremely frustrated. Never compare yourself to anyone. Everybody is in a different journey, in a different stage in their life. You know, Tony Robbins always say, like, model people. You want to be successful? Model people. Yes, it's correct, but model people where you are. Like, if I want to be an extreme bodybuilder, I cannot look at your regime and diet and I copy it. It won't work with me. Then I will be pissed off. Fuck, that didn't work. No, when you were at my size, my state, I will do as you tell me. So modeling at the right time. So don't just compare. Yeah, shit, this comparison.
That's why one of the things I actually find me personally teaching is I and helping other trainers, I tell them what I did 4 or 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Whereas what I do now is not really relevant because it's completely different.
Absolutely different level. You know, like soccer players. When people like, since I'm an Egyptian, they talk about Mo Salah.
Yeah.
And people say like, we will model Mo Salah now, youngsters. Man, you can't model Mo Salah now. You model Mo Salah 5 years back. That's where you model, and then you reach that point. But if you compare yourself with him now, it's with everything.
And I think that's just something that the media, maybe social media as well, is just driving more and more. And I think that's also where a lot of people are chasing more external vanity metrics of like likes, bullshit that on social media. Do you think that's something why you talk about being the alpha, why more men are becoming beta?
Yes. And you know, like one more thing I want to highlight. Like alphas are not only men. There is alpha woman and there is an alpha man. Just the difference that the alpha woman is alpha woman outside home. Once she's at home, her feminine side comes out. Being an alpha, again, is a person who's obsessed about their goals. There are extremely alpha women that they're obsessed about their goals. Like if we talk about Oprah Winfrey, she's an alpha, she's an absolute alpha. Yes, she has the traits of empathy and sweetheart, kind, all these things, but she's an alpha. So being an alpha is a man and being an alpha is a female. I was distracted by the race. Tell me again.
One thing I was going to ask you, think of that was, what's your favorite book?
Oh shit, it's the one that I wrote.
Okay. Not your own book.
My book. No,
that's an alpha thing to say.
Okay, I'll tell you. Actually, there are a couple of books. Like Simon Sinek, Start With Why. One of them.
Why start with why?
Because everything at the end of the day depends on your why. If you really realize that, like we say that behind the curtains, we have our downturns, downtime, that you're dying, like you're down. How I can recover is by really revisiting my why. Why the hell I'm doing all this? Why the hell? You know, being an entrepreneur is a disaster. It's a disaster profession. First of all, 15 years back, if you say that you're an entrepreneur, people will tell you you are just an unemployed person. Okay? So 15 years back, you cannot say that I'm an entrepreneur because you're going to be considered jobless person. These days, when you say that you're an entrepreneur, man, that is hell. That's hell. And I always say, like, why hell? Because you wake up every single morning as an entrepreneur, starting entrepreneur. You don't know when your idea will be good or will bring money. So every day you're putting in the energy, putting in the time, putting in the money, and you have no freaking idea when it's gonna
I'd also say on the counter side of that is that, in my opinion, in business, you either have a problem or a crisis at any given time.
True.
So you never know what's coming along. And part of the sick, twisted people who are entrepreneurs listening to this is I quite fucking like it.
True.
Because I like having a problem to solve.
Of course. And that's the thing, find a problem too. But even when you have a solution for it, until it clicks with people, get the market penetration and man, that's a lot. Remember, like I'm sure your journey is like this. Remember, it takes, I don't want to say it takes days, it takes years.
I would say for someone to be very successful, it takes 5 to 7 years of being very, very consistent.
5 to 8.
And I think that's where, like, you do get people who are quote unquote overnight success, but I just think that overnight success is still 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
No one rocks up out of the gate in 3 months in and is like making 100 grand a month.
Or it's not going to be sustainable because the foundation will be crap.
Or they haven't become the person who can actually handle that business.
True.
So it's the same thing as someone who gets a big crypto pump and they make a load of money or they win the lottery.
True.
They haven't learnt the skills of actually how to make money or how to money, so it then evades them.
100%.
And it's that of analogy when, like, I think it was like experience meets money, experience gets the money or something like that. Like the people.
But it's true because when you become successful over years, the most important thing, you really develop your character. You develop your skills to be able, as you said, like the lottery or the crypto thing, to be able either to invest, grow the money, sustain the money. Otherwise, you're going to be a spender. You're going to lose it all.
So talking about spending, do you think alpha men should buy supercars and stuff like that?
Why not?
Good, because I just bought a Ferrari.
Why not? You know, like a lot of people say, like, why not? One of the things is when people say, like, oh shit, like for example, let's say, like this, a champion.
Yeah.
oh shit, they live a lavish life. They have gym at home. They have a private jet. Why not? If these things allow them to be more successful, more winners. Having a gym at home doesn't mean that they're lazy. No, they're working their ass off. Having their private jet is what? Making their time more efficient. So having this luxury supercars, super yachts, whatever, it's, if you want, go get it.
Do you think that's a good part of a brand strategy for a young man listening to this?
Okay, one thing, if
you
you're
see
getting
that-
it too
You see
impressed,
that fake it till you make it scenario, right?
you know, the problem is these days you can't fake it too much. You'll be exposed 100%. You know, one of the things, like when people tell me, why you're wearing a fake watch? Why should I fucking wear a fake watch? Why you're having a rented car? Like, man, I'll put a sticker on the car. Nobody puts a sticker on a car if it's rented. The people give the excuses that they cannot achieve these things by giving just an excuse. Fake it till you make it these days doesn't work. You're gonna get exposed.
What do you think is the best thing people can do in branding in 2024?
Be always on. You know, I was the CMO of Samsung a long time ago. And one of the best strategy that we always say is always on. Be always on. Yes, we are in the era that everybody's always on. But be consistent, because majority of the people will not be consistent. When somebody comes and tell me, I'll tell you something. Maybe when you read about me, you know I was in Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was never into gym. It's a year thing, and the only thing I said, give me anything on earth and try to challenge me on it. Just try to challenge me on anything. Play a guitar, play a piano, whatever you want. And I promise you I'm gonna win. That's not of confidence, like just a bull ego. But I am sure, I'm so persistent, so disciplined, that I will keep doing the thing until I become master in it, while I am 99.9% sure that you will deviate. We're humans. That's our weakness. We deviate. We're doing a podcast. How many people turn off podcast below 100 episodes?
I think my fitness podcast, I have two podcasts. My fitness one, I think, has 400 episodes. This one, I don't know, maybe 100 or something plus.
Over 80% of podcasts that comes out, it drops before 100 episodes. People don't have the grit. So you want to compete? More than welcome. I know. I'm trained myself to be disciplined like hell. Like whatever you want. If it's a competition, it's not out of ego again. It's confidence that I'm not going to deviate. If I decide on something, I'm disciplined on it. You said something today. I was waking up in the morning, right? I did my video, I posted. Correct?
Yep.
Is it a painful job? Yes, it's crap. Do you want to do it? Oh shit, no. But what? That's discipline. I'm going to do it, regardless.
Was I had to train legs this morning, I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I still turned up and you do the thing and it's over and done with.
Exactly. It has to be done, regardless.
But that's how people lose confidence, because they lose the promise. They break the promises they make in themselves, which is why they have no confidence.
You know, that's the best statement about confidence. Really the best. Everybody tells you, how can I gain self-confidence? How can I gain self-confidence? Freaking keep the promise you say to yourself. You say you're going to do something, just do it. That's as simple as that.
I would say discipline is a word that gets thrown around a lot and that people fall on their sword on sometimes, but I think it is something that's very important. How have you built that discipline in your life, and how would you advise anyone else to do that?
Because, okay, I build discipline by creating a system around my day, my week, my months,
I'm
my
a systems
year.
guy, some big systems.
Exactly. Everything works with the system. If you don't have a system, you know, I meet a lot of people tell me like, okay, when I tell you, what's your routine? What's your daily routine? I don't have a daily routine. I just wake up in the morning and I see what I'm going to do. Failure. There is no discussion. There is no discussion. Systems allow you to succeed, because systems allows a lot of things, a lot of variables get it out of the discussion. Like I know in the morning, I'm going to wake up, do 1, 2, 3, 4. Before 9 a.m., I'm doing this. Between 9 and 12, I'm doing this. After 6 p.m., I'm doing this. First of all, it relaxes your brain from a lot of variables coming in. And the second makes you achieve results. Literally achieve results. If you want to read, let's put it simple and straight. You want to read. Just tell yourself, I'm going to read from 7 a.m. to 7:30, 10 pages. And put it on your calendar. No calendar means you have no actually priorities and goals.
And that's actually a guy who works for me, Jack, shout out to him, who's listening to this. We lived together when we were 18, and he was like, to show how people can change and learn things, you were the most unorganized, messy person I ever knew when you were 18 and we lived together for a while. It's now like, look at you, a company of 47 people, you got a color-coded calendar. Anyone who says they can't do it, I'm unorganized, it's like, be careful how you label yourself, because this is all learned skills.
True. But it's very important that you really start to plan your day. Have a routine. Routine, like, we live in an era as well that when you say to somebody routine, tells you like, oh shit, you're boring. Shit, I love my being boring. Meet me in 5 years.
Well, I like being successful too.
Exactly. Meet me in 5 years. Having a routine doesn't mean boring. It means I'm achieving the goals that I have for myself. You can't achieve goals without routines. Companies, let's put it even, like that's personal. Let's put it as a company. You won't see any company that doesn't have systems. Systems, operation manual, procedures. These are things to make sure that every single person in the organization is doing the task, performing at a particular standard, and getting the job done. This is called system.
I think the systems thing, people don't understand this in particular at the beginning. And I found this when I first started my business and I had a career as an estate agent. I was making maybe $100,000 a year, like a proper job. And I started posting photos of myself on the internet, my top off, all this stuff. People are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? And people ask you, why are you doing this? And then 5 years later, they ask, how have you done this?
Exactly. Yeah, it starts with why and then how. True.
And that's where I think people need to have the willingness to take the flack, that if you're trying to change and pivot, like you said, to go and be and do something different, you will have to evolve as a human being to do 100%. A different thing.
And then when you start to move, opportunities will open up. Everybody sits on the couch and says, I'm waiting for the opportunity. No, it doesn't come this way. You have to take steps. And then you see how opportunities will open. I'll give you a very good example. I've launched, or kind of 90% closer to launching my book. Okay?
What's it going to be called? Are we allowed to say?
Unleash the Alpha. Okay? Literally, it's my first book. Literally, I don't know what to do. It's the first thing, right? I told you I'm a mad scientist, right? So I was talking to the publisher. The publisher said, just print me any quantity. I just want to have the book in my hand first. As a first step, that's an action. And then I will see what I will do next. When I will launch my second book, it will be a bam. Because I passed through all this process, now I know everything about it.
You learned from the first one.
Exactly. Now I don't know. And I'm not shy saying I don't know, or it's a weakness that I don't know. No, just give it to me in my hand. Let me put the plan step by step. It's something absolutely new for me.
So I've been thinking a lot about writing a book, and a good example for anyone to think of with this is Alex Hormozy's books have been very successful, right?
And how he marketed it.
But those weren't his first books. His first book was Gym Launch.
True.
So he had already wrote a book. He learned how it all worked.
Exactly.
He'd also been a writer for a long time in college, and then he's an overnight bestseller.
True. You're 100%. You put it in a very nice perspective. Because his last book, when he did the launch online, like 500K attended, something like that. But correct, the gym launch in the beginning, that's a journey. So you learn.
And I think one of the most important things is people to actually open their eyes and look at things. So one of the things the most interesting marketing thing I took from Alex Hormozy in his book launch is when he sold the book, you could buy a bundle of 3 of them with a hat.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea why I bought 3 of them with a hat. I don't want a hat and I don't need 3 copies, but I was like, I'll just buy all 3.
Yeah, true, 100%. He's a smart ass, really smart ass.
And I think a lot of that is the fucking around and figuring it out. In terms of your own career, who have been the biggest mentors to help you to get to where you are? And what do you take to help you to get to the next level of you, or who is that?
Okay, in every part of, or a phase of my career, I had mentors. And I had role models that I model, okay? So when I was in corporate, I had a mentor, a Turkish guy. He's like, he was the CMO before me. So he was my mentor at that time. And then different. Every time I try to put myself into a circle that put me up. A lot of people get afraid of getting into circles or network, which they're better off.
Yeah.
I'm not talking financially, I'm talking like business success, like whatever status. A lot of people get afraid to enter these kind of circles because they feel that it diminishes them. No, you just they will take you up. Jim Rohn says what you're the average of the 5. So you need to put yourself into the correct circles where people will push you up. A lot of people get into a circle where the circle push them down. That's one thing. And then I have a role model for me that I've been studying him inside out, Richard Branson. Why Richard Branson? Because we are entrepreneurs.
British guy as well.
One thing, but he manages fucking 400 plus companies.
And if you ever see him, he never looks that stressed.
Absolutely.
He's chilled.
Why? Because he recruits the best freaking team and properly delegate.
I was just about to say
that. Properly. He's living on an island, man. He's
I can't remember who I was speaking with, but someone I was with in Miami, I can't remember off the top of my head, was with him and went to I think went on a ski holiday with him or something stupid. And they were saying the most fascinating thing was seeing the only work he did every day, he sat down with his assistant for an hour in the morning just to and that was it. He's done.
The best person delegating and living his life. You know, like a lot of businessmen that they're at that scale, they're not like, look at, for example, look at Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a different personality, different character, different. Super successful. Hands-on, 100% Elon Musk. Hands-on, 100%.
Probably micromanager.
Probably micromanaging, delegating, of course, because...
Yeah, so that's
it's a must. But the other guy, super successful, 400 plus companies, plus enjoying his life.
And I think, I don't know about for you, but for me, that's really the point. It's like, yeah, I want to achieve all this success and do all this crazy shit, but then I also want to enjoy the journey along the way. And that's why even now, like, I'll review my schedule every Sunday and be like, cool, let's plan in like what I want to do. So I try and play some type of sport every day.
True.
So like this morning I was supposed to play paddle outside at 7 a.m. That didn't happen. For anyone who's watching the video version of this, it's pissing with rain. And like Dubai's underwater.
It's unbelievable.
I could have got a boat there. But for me, I think that's an important thing for people to understand. I also think the higher you go up in business, like for me at the beginning was the hustle and grind phase.
Yes.
So for me to get to 7 figures a year, like I just fucking buried myself into it.
Exactly, but people have to do this. You understand? Like the only thing that don't get dragged into it. Like there is a phase that you need to. There are no weekends. There are no holidays. There's no partying. There's no
switch.
There is nothing.
It's on you.
Yeah, except working hard. It could be years, but you have to accept that. But once you pass this phase and you master the art of delegation, scaling, and start to enjoy your life. But you cannot skip the first part. You can't.
And I think this is where people want to go on the vacation, but they don't want the flight there. And the interesting next step that I now find is that for me to get to 8 figures a year, I have to do the opposite of that. Is I have to take myself back,
True.
Not micromanage, let the teams do their stuff rather than me
100%.
praying all the time.
Strategic, how to scale. It's a different game.
And then start saying that rich people don't work, they think. So it's a thinking game at that point of like, what's the next move on the chessboard? Like, what's the biggest play of leverage I could do? Like this awesome podcast with you.
100%. You know, like the idea is what you said something good, because a lot of people talk about like the me time. When everybody say like, "What's your me time?" No, sometimes I want to sit, turn the chair like this, look outside. I just want to think, because you know sometimes you're really into operations or into the 1-year plan, but you need the time that strategize, think broader. What you need to do to move to the next level. And that doesn't come by you, your head is always occupied by the regular daily operations. You need the time to think.
So interesting, I'm going to the Maldives tomorrow actually for 4 or 5 days. And one of the reasons I do something like that every quarter, I won't have access to my phone, is just let my brain just like decompress. And so you can just think clearly. Because one of the biggest things I think now is that your thoughts aren't your own thoughts. Your thoughts are what you see every day. So when you don't have other things coming into your like thought process, you can actually think clearly of like, where am I going in life? Why am I going there?
Yeah, true.
How can I get there faster?
But did you do it before or never?
I first did it 12 months ago, and the first time I did it, and I'd probably worked for had my business like 5-6 years at this point, and never had a proper no one could talk to me day off. I was like, it was the weirdest feeling in the world. Because I was just like on my own on the beach, and it was a very interesting to
no phones,
talk
no
about.
connectivity. Very interesting one. Needed, but it's very hard to do.
100%. Now, obviously, we're here in Dubai. Would you recommend Dubai is the best place in the world for entrepreneurs to go?
Currently, yes.
Why do you say currently?
Because you see a lot of the political situation, economic situation everywhere. That's the best place on earth now. And actually, they're doing their best to keep it at that level.
I would agree.
They've been like, what's the best thing about Dubai? They're neutral.
Don't get involved.
Why should I get involved? You understand? Like, I'm neutral. I'm a country on my own. Yes, I have my views. I have. But I'm neutral. I don't need to be involved in something that will bring me shit. Why? That's why you see 200 plus nationalities here. Everybody living peacefully. Plus the support that it's available, like the government support, the funding, the visa structures, and. Of course, that's the best place.
I think as well, from an entrepreneurial point of view, for anyone listening to this, obviously I'm biased. I live in Dubai as do you, and I have all my business and stuff here. The biggest strategic advantage you can get as a business is paying barely any tax. So if you can come here, not pay any tax, you then have a competitive advantage over everyone else because you can outspend them to acquire customers because they're paying tax.
True. The problem is what with Dubai? The best thing for entrepreneurs who are coming from abroad, they come and sometimes they get soaked into the life of Dubai.
Distracted.
So you don't, the lifestyle of Dubai. So you get soaked means like, okay, you're not going to pay taxes, but you spend every single penny on your lifestyle. You understand? So people have to be really balanced. You know what you want, what's your goal, and you make a proper plan. I'm not going to say Dubai is cheap or expensive city. Everybody can live whatever their means.
I think
you need to be careful.
It's normal. The same as London, I would say.
Here, the financial instruments in Dubai is the best in the world. The financial instrument, the ease to access money for your business, one thing, and for your leisure is another thing. So if you want to buy a car, a house, whatever it is, high-ticket products, there are a lot of financial instruments that helps you do it. Unplanned from the person screws you up. Planned, you can leverage. So that's why I'm saying, like, yes, you don't pay the taxes, but don't come and say, like, since I don't pay the taxes, let me
Spend
enjoy.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be very careful.
One last question for you, Sief. For the audience listening to this, who are mainly young male entrepreneurs in the fitness space, what's the number one thing they can focus on for the rest of the year to be the most alpha, best version of themselves?
If I will say one thing, I'll say number one, like sit and say, where do you want to reach by the end of the year? Write it down in numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, and commit that you're going to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which most importantly, not to be a freaking alpha or whatever, to build your self-confidence. Once you build this self-confidence, you're going to be unstoppable. And it's really something easy to do. I always say this, a statement, I say always rack your wins. Rack your wins. Like I always, like today, I read a podcast with you, it's a win. Oh fuck, it's a win. Yes, it's a win. It's none of your business, it's a win for me. I keep racking wins. So my confidence in myself, come and throw me any problem, I'm sure I'm gonna handle it. There is no like a doubt that I won't be able to handle any obstacle, any challenge, or if I have a goal, I won't be able to achieve it because I already built or racked my wins. Confidence.
I love that. Where's the best place for people to find more about you?
My Instagram is is my center of
Life.
like the social platforms. So, it has everything, and then from it, my website and.
And a podcast. So for everyone who took a ton of value from that, I love the conversation. We'll have to do a part
Love
two.
it, brother.
Make sure you smash like button, subscribe, share this with a friend. And if you could leave us a 5-star review for listening to iTunes, it'd be awesome. And we'll see you next episode very, very soon.